Of the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice, Brooks has tackled issues from job access to foreclosures.
So as you know, this weekend marks the 60th anniversary of the historic Brown versus Board of Education ruling. That groundbreaking decision desegregated schools and really forever changed the makeup of American classrooms. But a lot of people, including Attorney General Eric Holder, say that racism is still very much alive and well.
Yeah, and he talked about it yesterday. He was the commencement speaker at Morgan State University, which is an HBCU, historically black college, university in Baltimore. Referencing recent comments by LA Clippers coach Donald Sterling, rancher Cliven Bundy, Holder said this: "These outbursts of bigotry, while deplorable, are not the true markers of the struggle that still must be waged or the work that still needs to be done, because the greatest threats do not announce themselves in screaming headlines. They are more subtle. They cut deeper." He also said this: "Proposals that feed uncertainty, question the desire for people to work, and relegate particular Americans to economic despair are more malignant than intolerant public statements, no matter how many eyebrows the outbursts might raise."
So let's bring in HLN contributor Jason Johnson. He's also a political science professor at Hiram College, and Shanika Williams. She's an associate professor of educational administration and policy at the University of Georgia. We're so grateful to have both of you here. Thank you. Jason, I want to start with you first, because we've seen the First Lady talk about this. Now we've heard it from Eric Holder, and you can't help but wonder, with these similar statements, are they making a specific political move here, you know, about subtle racism and modern day segregation? Or is this the new legacy, let's say, that they want to leave behind?
I think this is the new old legacy. I think what they're talking about, the fact that there's only so many things you can actually legislate. You can't legislate people to be nice to each other. If it's overt discrimination, if it's Cliven Bundy, if it's Donald Sterling, there's something you can do. But what Michelle Obama talked about a lot in her commencement speech is how you treat each other. Being nice to other people, stopping your uncle from making that racist joke at Thanksgiving. That is sort of the modern day subtle racism that we still deal with, above and beyond the policy issues that still exist when it comes to anything from voter ID to housing.
And I think a lot of people were surprised, Janika, that the segregation that was supposed to be wiped away 60 years ago in schools continues. And this is what you study. Has it gotten worse? Are we slipping back into a pre-Brown versus Board era?
Absolutely. In a lot of ways, we are slipping back to a pre-Brown versus Board era. And I would argue that a lot of that is due to racism and what is happening in neighborhoods. We have to understand that residential segregation begets school segregation. And until there's something that can be done with housing in conjunction with education, I think we'll continue to have this conversation.
Well, I mean, I want to read something here. Contributor and Democratic strategist Donna Brazil. She says that integration is falling apart altogether. And I want to read something to you that she wrote on CNN.com here real quickly. She said, 60 years later, separate and unequal is still alive. Privatizing our school system results in increased segregation, not improved opportunities. Whether in New Orleans or Philadelphia or Detroit or New York, legislative schemes perpetuate separate and unequal by privatizing large swaths of public school districts, and in some cases entire districts. You just talked about residential segregation. Get that. Is what she's saying inherently true here as well?
In some ways, I just think there is a policy disconnect, right? But also the ownership has to be on individuals to continue to want this. I am not certain that the public, A, is aware of what is happening in our schools, and B, if they are, then where is the grassroots, if you will? Where are the individuals that will step up for this?
Where is the change? Because this is my question. I mean, I've got 3 girls in school, and we're in public school. We're in a particular district, and we can't change that district.
Right.
So what do we do to better integrate?
I think the change happens with districts looking at how they design and implement their student assignment policies. Actually, district leadership has more control in this area than they think they do. I think there could be a way to get districts such that students of color, low income, are merged in schools with students that are of higher income, not students of color, and there could be a balance both in terms of race and socioeconomic status that could push us down the road a little bit further than where we are.
So we've talked about the grassroots effort that needs to happen. Jason, my question is from the top. Are we now excited again because we have a person who is in the president's cabinet, who is a person of color, speaking at a university that's majority of color? The president spoke at Hampton University, an HBCU, in 2010. We've got the first lady at Spelman in 2011. We've got the president at Morehouse in 2013. He's spoken at other schools. But if there is no policy connected to it, is it all just a bunch of words?
It is beautiful window dressing, but it accomplishes little or nothing. Look, Barack Obama spoke in front of Morehouse a year and a half ago. I was here talking about it, and yet at the same time, he's been gutting +1 loans, which have been absolutely essential for many low-income students of all colors, but especially minority students, to actually go to college. He's had his sort of My Brother's Keeper program, but there's already been problems with that because the claim right now to get some of the grant money is you have to be in 35 or 40 states, which not many African-American organizations are necessarily that big. So Barack and Michelle Obama and Eric Holder, they've been very good at talking integration. They've been very good at talking racial progress, but the actual policies as he's put forth have been very neutral in many instances, and in many ways have been gutted by his own ineptitude, not just the GOP.
So I wonder if this is equivalent to having maybe a Republican who's running for the nomination speak at a Liberty University. Is this just politics? Is it legacy time? Is it I was at the right place at the right time saying the right thing?
I think it's a mixture of both. Look, I think the president actually cares. I just don't think he has the right policies from time to time. I mean, not just from the +1 loans, but if you look at residential segregation, if you look at what's been happening in our public schools, some of it's a funding issue. Some of it is a simple matter of reminding people that the way that we create our districts, that we sort of exclude some neighborhoods here, giving local school boards that much power, that's where a lot of this new segregation is coming from. And it's both class-based, race-based, and sometimes even language-based.
All right, Jason Johnson, Shanika Williams, I'm glad we've had this conversation, but at the center of it, I hope it becomes more than a conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the point.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
So much for being here.